How's it going, folks? Mark from Like Minded Lunatics, and welcome to another Monday music matchup. I hope you're all doing well. Before I get to today's matchup, I want to remind you, hey, have you hit that subscribe button yet? We're growing leaps and bounds here on YouTube, and we would love for you to join this family. So in the bottom right-hand corner, or if you're watching on mobile, below the video, hit that red subscriber button. It don't cost you nothing, and it sure does help us out. Also, make sure you check out some of our other content. My writing partner, Todd Wright, does a segment we call Drink, Play, Swear. That's where he has an adult beverage, tries to play an aggravating video game as he's telling you a story. The stories are great, and it's fun watching a grown man get aggravated with a video game. You can go over here to check those out. All right, so today, the matchup, we're going to take a look at two covers of the Cranberries' classic song, Zombie. Now, me, Ricky Hall, and Jim Longoria, we posted a reaction to Zombie a couple of weeks ago. We actually filmed it about a month and a half ago, and we ended up releasing it on the week that Ukraine was invaded by Russia. And it became, we had no idea when we were filming it that it would be that contemporary, that the things that Dolores O'Riordan was writing about would be once again in the news. So if you're not familiar with it, Zombie was written by Dolores O'Riordan in response to the Warrington bombings in the United Kingdom, in the UK, specifically in England. And it's a super emotional song. And we go in depth to the history, some of the singing conventions behind it in that episode, and you can go over here to watch that. But in the comments, some folks were like, hey, you should react to the Bad Wolves one. Did you know that they did that? Yes, I know that they did a cover of it. In fact, my wife and I saw them perform it just several months after Dolores O'Riordan tragically passed away. I was completely aware of it. So what I thought we would do is we would compare the Bad Wolves version, to a cover that Miley Cyrus did at the Whiskey A Go-Go, and see which one comes out on top. Now, I know that this decision, if whatever a decision I come to, is going to piss off some people. If I go with Bad Wolves, the Miley people are going to be pissed, and if I go with Miley, the Bad Wolf people are going to be pissed. Look, this is my personal opinion. I can almost tell you that if I ran this again the next day, my decision, whatever it may be at the end of this, would probably be different. So let's take a look at both of these. The Bad Wolves recorded their version back in 2018, and Miley's was recorded at the Whiskey A Go-Go in 2020. So let's start with the Bad Wolves version since it was temporally first. Here we go. Bad Wolves, Zombie.
Silence, who are we mistaken? But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are fighting with their tanks.
So first, let me make this clear. We're comparing Miley Cyrus and Bad Wolves, but I feel like one of the distinguishing characteristics of this song and the way Dolores O'Riordan sings it is that keening that she does. And again, we talked about that in depth over here. It's not yodeling, it's keening. But that essentially means that at the end of some lines, she goes up. Let me go back here. I can point it out. So right there, she would have keened. They are fighting. Yeah, she would do that. And Bad Wolves is not doing that. To me, that's one of the defining characteristics of that song. I love the fact that, I don't know that I love the fact, but I do think it's super powerful, the beginning of it. Another child is slowly taken. You know, Dolores was slowly taken from us. The song takes on a different meaning. When it's not her singing it, when it's not an Irish woman singing it, it takes on a different meaning when we know that Dolores is no longer with us. All right, here's Miley's version. so she hasn't started singing yet. But what I will say is, right off the bat, I feel like that the Bad Wolves, because of the piano, the choice to replace the intro guitar with piano, sounds more elegiac to me. It sounds more like a tribute to Dolores O'Riordan than it does a cover of the song. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I feel like because of her loss, it sounds like a tribute to her rather than a cover of the song. Now, reportedly, Dolores O'Riordan was supposed to appear on this version with Bad Wolves, which is just super devastating.
Another head hangs slowly, child is slowly taken, and the violence causes silence. Who are we mistaken? What you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are crying.
Again, we get a down on the crying with Miley. We don't get the up like we had with Dolores. And I know that's just a change in vocalist choice, but again, I feel like that keening is so important to the Irish heritage of this song. Right, so keening, again, you can go back and watch we did an in-depth thing on that in the other video, but keening was an Irish lament for the dead, and it was characterized by an alternating throat and head singing and this really high-pitched warbling. Miley's got the warble, but she's not doing that up at the end of those lyrics.
In your head, they are crying. And their tanks, and their bombs, and their bombs, and their guns. In your head, they are crying.
Again, they are fighting, and she lowers it, whereas O'Riordan would go, they are fighting. Yeah. She does that lilt up, which I thought was just gorgeous.
With their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their drones in your head.
Now, that's the only lyric I think that they changed in their drones instead of in their bombs.
In your head, they are crying. What's in your head? In your head. Zombie, zombie, zombie. What's in your head? In your head. Zombie, zombie, zombie.
Such a powerful tune, right? And one of the things that I'm noticing now when I'm watching these back to back is that Miley's does retain that grungy sound. You know, that sound as if we just rolled up into the club, plugged our pedals into the amps and went, you know? This one sounds way more engineered, much more meticulously put together. I think that's one of the big differences I'm hearing between these two. Not that one's better than the other. It's a different sound and a different artistic choice.
In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. What's in your head? In your head.
Well, that was an interesting choice there. She's catching those O's like O'Riordan did, and I do like how she is alternating between clean and fried lyrics when she's doing zombie. O'Riordan did that too. The zombie was the za was melodic, and then the B was that grungy fry, like you would hear Alanis Morissette doing at that around that same time period. And she's retaining that. I love that.
Another mother's breaking, heart is taken.
we'll stop her at that big scream and go back to Bad Wolves.
Mother's breaking, heart is taking over.
Now, I think one of the things that just occurred to me is that there is a bigger distinction between these quiet parts and then the screams in Bad Wolves. I think those are juxtaposed a little bit more solidly between those two moments. Whereas Miley's, again, it's a stage performance. It's I think tonally more consistent, and I don't mean that in either a negative or positive way, but because of the way they're engineering this, these quieter parts are quieter. And I think it lends them a little more weight.
When the violence causes silence, we must be mistaken. It's the same old theme in 2018.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They changed the time.
In your head, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their guns and their drones. In your head,
They changed that too. Okay, let's go back.
fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their guns and their drones.
Okay, so in the original, with their tanks, their bombs, their guns, they are still fighting. O'Riordan mentions bombs twice. And there was a commenter in our previous video, and this was something that neither Ricky, Jim, nor I picked up on. Maybe the reason that O'Riordan originally wrote it as two bombs, like it's almost a repeated lyric, is because 2 children were killed in the Warrington bombings. And so the way that she sings it isn't repeating a lyric. It's one bomb, but it killed 2 lives, took 2 children's lives. They take that out here.
In your head, they are dying. What's in your head?
See, that's what I mean, though. Because of how they're engineering it, those quiet parts, there's a much bigger difference between those quiet parts and those thrash parts.
And their guns and their drones. In your head, they are dying. What's in your head? In your head. Stop it, stop it, stop it. What's in your head? In your head. Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Fantastic guitar solo in that one. Fantastic. Tone is perfect. Such a clean tone on that. And it doesn't seem grandiose or masturbatory, for lack of a better word. It feels like it's a crescendo in this song where it builds up and the emotion is so high that we get that guitar solo. Such a great solo in that. I do like that choice there. It's the second time she's done that. She's got to build up that voice for that. All right, we're at that guitar solo, but I do have to say, I love Miley's performance here. She's bellowing up those lungs, isn't she, folks? Building that air up so she can get those belts out. And she's not quite keening the way that O'Riordan did, but she's getting pretty damn close. God, I wish I was there at that performance. Don't you? Jesus Christ. I gotta say, as a Gen Xer who was firmly entrenched in that grunge movement, this feels grungy. This feels so fucking grungy. You can feel the beer on the floor, right? Wow. All right, let's let Bad Wolves finish up. Wow, it's a powerful and beautiful version too. You know, I think the decision I'm going to come to is this. I think that Miley's is a closer cover. And it's a cover that still retains that emotion about the Warrington bombings. That's what I feel from Miley's. And maybe that I should expand on that. I think I feel the rage at violence in society. I feel like you could place this over what's happening in the Ukraine. The Russians bombing hospitals and children dying, and it fits. The anger is still there. The helplessness is still there. With Bad Wolves, I feel like the feeling I get from it is a really beautiful tribute to Dolores O'Riordan because of how they changed some of the lyrics, especially that 2018 from 1918, or was it 1916? Yeah, I think so, to 2018. It feels more like this is an elegiac commemoration of Dolores O'Riordan. And I hate to bring in the visuals, but that's what I get from that visual too, is that she's now behind a piece of glass. She's now separated from us, but her memory still lingers. That's the feeling I get from Bad Wolves. So if we were going with which one do you think is a better cover, I'm going Cyrus. But if you ask which is the better tribute to Dolores O'Riordan, I'm going Bad Wolves. That's where I'm going. So let me know in the comments what you think. Again, these matchups are for fun, although this was a somber one. These matchups are for fun, just a fun little thing to put two things head to head that we love. I never, ever feature anything on here that I don't love already, but that's the decision I'm going with. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Let me know what you would go with. Which one of these do you think is a better cover, is a better tribute to Dolores O'Riordan, is a better representation of this gorgeous, gorgeous song? And I would encourage you to go back and take a look at the video that Ricky, Jim, and I did. We put a lot of work into that. Ricky plays live Cranberries stuff in that video. It was a lot of, I don't want to say fun, but it was cathartic to do. And again, we had no idea when we filmed it that in the news we would once again be seeing images of children being killed by bombs. We had no idea. So let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, and take care of yourselves, folks. We'll see you soon.